I was wondering when you'd return, he said, rising slowly. The meddling niece. The widow. The ghost girl. You killed your brother, Chiaka spat. Okafor smiled. He was weak. Sentimental. He thought legacy was built on love. But power, my dear, power is built on fear. Nathan stepped forward, holding the box. Your power ends tonight. Okafor laughed, the sound echoing through the chamber. You think paper and ghosts can stop me? He raised his hand, and the mirrors shimmered. From within them, figures began to crawl, dark, twisted versions of men and beasts. The air filled with their cries. Ujunwa clutched the charm and whispered a prayer. Tobichuku, help me. Light burst from her hands, illuminating the room. The shadow screamed, recoiling from her glow. Okafor staggered back, his eyes wide. No! That's not possible. She moved toward him, the light growing brighter. You built your wealth on blood. But even blood remembers its truth. The mirrors cracked one by one. From behind the last one, the gourd emerged, black, carved with symbols that pulsed like veins. Ujunwa reached for it, but Okafor lunged. His hand caught her wrist. His skin burned cold as ice. If I fall, he hissed, I'm taking you with me. Then, a voice thundered through the chamber, Tobichuku's. Not this time, uncle. His spirit appeared behind Okafor, blazing with fire. He seized the man, dragging him backward. Now, Ujunwa, he shouted. She smashed the gourd against the floor. The explosion was blinding. Light filled every corner of the mansion. The mirrors shattered. The walls shook. A scream half human, half something far older, echoed into the night. When the light faded, the chamber was in ruins. The mirrors were gone. Okafor lay still on the ground, his face twisted in terror. Tobichuku stood over him, his form calm, his eyes peaceful. It's over, he said softly. He turned to his sister. You were brave. Chiaka wept. I thought I'd never see you again. He smiled faintly. You will. But not like this. He looked at Ujunwa one last time. Thank you for carrying my voice. Then, like a candle in the wind, he faded, his light merging with the dawn that broke gently over Enugu. By morning, the authorities had arrived. Nathan handed over the documents, and news of Chief Okafor's crimes spread like wildfire. His empire crumbled within days. In the quiet that followed, Mama Ujunwa and her daughter stood by the river where it had all begun. The water glimmered under the sun, clear and calm. Ujunwa closed her eyes. For the first time in weeks, the world was silent. Then she smiled faintly. He's free now. Her mother nodded. And so are we. The wind stirred once more, gentle and warm. Somewhere in its whisper, she thought she heard his voice, soft, grateful, and at peace. The morning after Chief Okafor's fall felt unreal, as though the entire city of Enugu had exhaled after holding its breath for too long. The sun rose slowly over the hills, brushing the rooftops with a warm, golden glow. Market women swept their stalls. Roosters crowed. Life moved on as if unaware that a darkness older than memory had been defeated only hours before. But Ujunwa knew. She felt the shift deep within her chest, where the cold weight of fear had once lived. There was now a strange, humming warmth. A peace that felt borrowed from another world. She walked along the narrow road toward the riverbank with her mother. Their steps were slow, thoughtful. Birds flitted from tree to tree, chirping in bright, careless tones that almost made her smile. Almost. Because even with the victory fresh in her mind, she couldn't help noticing something different in the air. Something new. A pull. A whisper. As though someone, something, was still calling her. Mama Ujunwa felt it too. She kept glancing at her daughter, worry shading her eyes. You've been quiet, she finally whispered. Your heart, is it still heavy? Ujunwa hesitated, then nodded. It's like, something isn't finished yet. Mama's fingers tightened around her hand. Child, we did what needed to be done. Tobichuku is free. Okafor is gone. The spirits themselves sealed the chamber. What else remains? Yujunwa looked at the river ahead, the same river where she had first heard Tobichuku's voice, where the wind had carried warnings too heavy for any child to understand. The water shimmered beneath the sunlight, flowing gently like a ribbon of glass. I don't know, she whispered. But I feel like someone is still watching us. Her mother stopped walking. Fear flashed briefly across her face. The spirits? Yujunwa shook her head. Not a spirit. A person. They both turned back toward the road. And saw him. Nathan. But something was different about him too. He stood at the crest of the hill, the rising sun casting a halo around his figure. His clothes were wrinkled, his face worn with exhaustion, yet his eyes were sharp, almost too sharp, glittering with some new urgency. He descended the slope slowly, clutching a brown envelope. I've been looking for you, he said. His voice was calm, but something underneath trembled, like a cord pulled too tight. Mama Yujunwa stepped protectively in front of her daughter. Nathan, are you all right? He nodded once. No. And that's why we need to talk. Yujunwa felt a chill. Nathan looked around suspiciously before pulling them closer. It's not over, he whispered. The wind shifted. Mama's breath caught. What do you mean it's not over? We destroyed Okafor's power. We ended the darkness. Nathan rubbed a hand over his face. Yes, the darkness tied to Okafor. The one Tobichuku spoke of. He held up the envelope. But there's more. He opened it carefully, revealing a stack of documents, old photographs, letters, maps, and a torn piece of parchment inked with symbols similar to those on the broken gourd. Yujunwa's heart began to pound. What is that? She whispered. Nathan swallowed. While you were with your mother this morning, I went back to the mansion ruins. Mama flinched. You went back there? Alone? I had to, he said. Something about the place felt unfinished. And I found these buried under the floor of the room with the mirrors. Hidden beneath the second layer of stone. He handed Yujunwa a photograph. A group of men stood in a circle, their faces stern, their hands joined. Some were in suits, others in traditional attire. And at the center was a symbol, an emblem etched into the ground like a ritual seal. Her breath hitched. She recognized one of the men. It was Chief Okafor. But beside him. She blinked. Mama, is that? Her mother took the photograph and froze. Her hands began to shake. No, she whispered. It can't be. But it was. Standing beside Okafor in the photo was Yujunwa's father. Alive. Younger. But unmistakable. Mama Yujunwa staggered back, clutching her chest as though struck. He told me, he said he had no dealings with Okafor. He said he distanced himself from all of them before he died. Her voice cracked. Nathan lowered his gaze. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to tell you. Yujunwa stared at the photo, her vision swimming. Her father, whom she remembered only through stories, faded pictures, and the lingering ache of absence, had been part of this? What was this gathering? She asked quietly. Nathan took a deep breath. I don't have all the answers. But from what I gathered, this wasn't just a business alliance. He pulled out the parchment. This was a covenant. Mama shook her head violently. No. My husband was a good man. He might have been, Nathan said gently. But whatever they formed together, survived beyond their deaths. Yujunwa's voice dropped to a whisper. What covenant? Nathan met her eyes. The covenant of the 13th path. The wind died. Birdsong stopped. Even the river seemed to hold its breath. Nathan continued. It was a society older than independence. Older than colonial rule. It stretches far back into the traditions of the ancient kingdom. They believed whoever mastered the 13th path could hold dominion over both the living and the dead. Mama Ujunwa gasped. God forbid. But Nathan wasn't finished. According to these documents, Okafor wasn't the only one seeking that power. Others wanted it too. And some of them are still alive. Ujunwa felt her stomach twist. You mean they will come after us? Nathan hesitated. Not just after us. After whatever Okafor left behind. The documents mention a second artifact, a twin to the gourd you destroyed. Something they call Obandu, the orbs of life. Ujunwa swallowed hard. Where is it? Nathan looked toward the distant hills. That's the problem. The map shows it's hidden somewhere along this river, the same river where Tobichuku first found you. Silence fell over them like a blanket of smoke. Mama Ujunwa gripped her daughter's hand tightly. What does this mean? Why here? Nathan's voice darkened. Because the river isn't just water. It's a border. A threshold. A doorway between the living world and whatever lies beneath it. Ujunwa stared at the shimmering surface of the river. The gentle flow. The dancing sunlight. The quiet, deceptive peace. Suddenly the water didn't look peaceful at all. It looked alive. Too alive. As though breathing. Shifting. Waiting. A whisper curled into her ear, soft, longing, familiar. Ujunwa. She stiffened. Tobichuku, she whispered. Mama's eyes widened. Is he still with you? But the voice wasn't peaceful this time. It was strained. Urgent. Run. Ujunwa's pulse exploded. What? Nathan grabbed her arm as the river began to stir violently, waves crashing against the banks though no wind blew. Move, he shouted. The water swelled, twisting into a dark whirlpool. Something massive, something ancient, began rising from its depths, its shadow stretching across the ground like a monstrous hand. Mama screamed. Nathan yanked them back. Ujunwa couldn't breathe. The river exploded upward in a column of water and shadow. And from its center, a voice boomed, deep, rumbling, older than the language of men. You broke the gourd. But the covenant still lives. Nathan froze. Mama fell to her knees. Ujunwa shook like a leaf. From the water emerged a towering silhouette, its form shifting, half human, half something born of river and shadow. Its eyes glowed white like fire under the surface. Tobichuku freed himself from one bond, the creature growled. But the second bond remains. And the girl who shattered the seal must pay the price. The creature raised its arm, water swirling around its limb like a living serpent. Ujunwa stumbled back. Nathan shielded her. Mama screamed her name. The creature roared, the river splitting behind it. And then, a flash of blinding, golden light tore through the air. The creature reeled backward with a guttural cry. The light spread, forming a shape. A person. A young man. Familiar. Radiant. Tobichuku. But not the flickering spirit they had seen before. This was a fuller form outlined in shimmering gold, solid enough to cast a shadow. His voice boomed, strong and fierce. You will not touch her. The river creature snarled. You cannot protect her. Not from the others. Not from what her father left behind. Tobichuku stepped forward, the ground trembling with each movement. Then let them come. I will stand with her. His eyes turned toward Ujunwa, softening, glowing with something between gratitude and something she didn't yet understand. You freed me, he whispered. But now, there is a greater battle ahead. Ujunwa's heart pounded painfully. What battle? Tobichuku's form flickered slightly. The covenant has awakened. And they are coming for the orb. If they reach it first, death will be a mercy. The river thundered behind them, the creature retreating into the churning depths. Nathan stared in horror. Mama wept silently. Tobichuku extended his hand toward Yujunwa. Come with me. Her breath caught. Where? His eyes darkened with the weight of fate. To find the orb. Before they do. The river stilled. The sun dimmed. The world held its breath around them. And then Yujunwa placed her hand in his. The next chapter of her destiny began. The world shifted around Yujunwa the moment her hand touched Tobichuku's. A warm pulse shot through her skin, neither painful nor pleasant, but ancient. Like the silent heartbeat of something older than the earth beneath her feet. The river shimmered. The trees bent their branches as though bowing to an unseen force. And Mama Yujunwa cried out as a whirl of golden dust swirled around her daughter's wrist, forming a soft, glowing bracelet of light. What is that? Nathan whispered, stepping closer, eyes wide. Tobichuku turned toward him, his features glowing faintly, as though his body were stitched together from morning sunbeams. She has been marked, he said quietly. Chosen by the river spirits who witnessed the breaking of the gourd. The words settled over them like falling ash, heavy, sacred, irreversible. Mama Yujunwa stumbled forward, panic slicing through her voice. No! No more spirits around my child. Tobichuku, leave her alone. She has done enough for you. She. Mama, Yujunwa whispered. Her voice stilled the air. Mama froze at the tremor hiding beneath her daughter's whisper. Yujunwa raised her glowing wrist, and in the reflection of the river, she saw herself. Not as the frightened girl who had heard whispers by the stream. But as something else. Something becoming. I think this was always meant to happen, she said softly. From the moment he spoke to me the first time, everything has been pushing us to this point. Tobichuku nodded once. Your journey is not a burden. It is an inheritance. Mama's face fell, wounded, confused, afraid. Inherited from who? Her father? Is that what all this means? That his sins are now hers? Tobichuku drew a slow breath. No. Her father did not walk the 13th path. He only witnessed it. Nathan blinked. Witnessed? But he was in the photograph. Yes, Tobichuku replied. And that is why he died. A silence so deep it felt like thunder slammed into the clearing. Mama covered her mouth, her breath trembling. What do you mean? She whispered. Tobichuku's eyes darkened. He wanted to leave the covenant. He wanted to expose what Okafor was doing. But the path does not tolerate traitors. Nathan clenched his jaw. Okafor killed him. Tobichuku nodded. And now, those who followed Okafor will come for the orb. They believe it can give them dominion over both worlds, the living and the dead. Mama took a step back. And you want my child to stand in their way? Tobichuku did not answer with words. Instead, he raised his hand. A soft wind curled around Yujunwa, lifting her braids slightly. The grass around her leaned, as though drawn by an unseen gravity. The glow on her wrist pulsed. Tobichuku, she whispered. What's happening to me? He met her eyes, gently, firmly. You broke the first seal. That means you carry its counterpart. You were chosen because your spirit is stronger than you know. Nathan swallowed hard. So she's some kind of key? No, Tobichuku replied softly. She is the gate. The breeze stopped. The forest fell silent. Mama Yujunwa gasped, shaking her head wildly. No. She is my child. She is flesh and blood, not some gateway for spirits. Yujunwa touched her mother's arm. Mama. I'm still me. Are you? Mama whispered, her voice cracking. Are you sure? Yujunwa opened her mouth, then paused. Because deep inside her, beneath her heartbeat, beneath her breath, beneath her bones, something stirred. Like a distant drumbeat echoing through a cave. Old. Forgotten. Calling her by a name she had never heard before. She shivered. Tobichuku stepped forward. We must leave now. Nathan frowned. Where? To the place where the river touches the mountain, Tobichuku said. The map leads there. That is where the orb is hidden. Mama shook her head vigorously. I'm not letting you take her alone. If she must go, then I go too. Nathan stepped up. So do I. Tobichuku regarded them for a long, silent moment. Very well. He motioned toward the narrow path beside the river. The journey will not be easy. The covenant watches. And the river remembers everything. They began to walk. The path of listening water. The forest grew thicker as they moved, the canopy tightening overhead until most of the sunlight was reduced to soft, trembling gold. Each crunch of leaves beneath their feet sounded louder than it should. Every rustle made Mama flinch. Nathan kept scanning the trees, his hand never drifting far from the pocket where he kept a small knife. But Ujunwa. She heard something else. Voices. Faint, drifting, flowing with the currents of the river beside them. Not human voices, something older. Whispering in a language she didn't understand, yet somehow recognized. Tobichuku. She grabbed his sleeve. Do you hear them? He glanced at her quietly. The river spirits speak to those who listen. What are they saying? He studied her for a moment, then responded. They are welcoming you. A chill slid down her spine. Mama heard none of it. Nathan heard nothing. Only Ujunwa. Only the chosen. They walked for over an hour before the forest opened into a clearing where the land sloped downward. At its center, a wide, circular pool reflected the sky like polished obsidian. Nathan halted. This wasn't on the map. Tobichuku approached the pool slowly. It wasn't meant to be. The air around the pool felt different, heavy, expectant, as though something waited beneath the surface. Ujunwa stepped closer, and the glowing bracelet on her wrist pulsed every time she neared the water. Tobichuku, she whispered. It's reacting. He nodded. Because she is here. They all turned sharply. A woman stood at the opposite end of the pool. Tall. Graceful. Wrapped in a flowing blue cloth that shimmered like moonlit waves. Her skin glowed faintly, her eyes deep and ancient. Mama stumbled back. Nathan inhaled sharply. Ujunwa froze. Tobichuku bowed. Mistress Ndia, he said quietly. The woman smiled, warm, serene, ageless. You have brought her. Ujunwa's heart pounded. Who are you? The woman moved across the water as if walking on glass. I am Dia, keeper of the listening waters, guardian of the path between the living and the forgotten. I have waited for you, child of dawn. Mama stepped in front of Ujunwa. Stay away from my daughter. Ndia lifted her hand gently. I mean her no harm. She is marked by the river. Protected. Called. Nathan stepped beside Mama. What do you want with her? Ndia's gaze softened. To show her the truth her blood has hidden. She extended her hand toward Ujunwa. Come. Ujunwa hesitated, not in fear, but because her body felt drawn forward, pulled by an invisible thread woven through her bones. Tobichuku touched her shoulder. It's all right. She will not hurt you. Mama grabbed Ujunwa's other hand. Don't go. Ujunwa turned. And saw her mother's trembling eyes. Mama, she whispered. I need to know who I am. Mama's breath hitched. The moment stretched between them, heartbreaking, sacred. Then Ujunwa stepped forward. Ndia placed her hand on Ujunwa's glowing wrist. The world disappeared. The river's memory. Water surrounded her. Not drowning. Not suffocating. Holding. Lifting. Showing. Images swirled around her like threads of light, her father younger, laughing beside Chief Okafor, unaware of the darkness he had stepped into. Then flashes. A sacred chamber. A ritual circle. Her father stepping back, not joining the chant. Fear on his face. Okafor whispering something in his ear. Then. A scream cut short. The visions blurred. Another memory emerged, one she had never seen but felt instantly. A woman kneeling by a riverbank under a full moon. Her mother. Young. Pregnant. Sobbing. Praying. A glow rising from the river, settling gently into her belly. Yujunwa gasped. The scene melted away, and she found herself in a place outside time, embraced by a voice as soft as drifting foam. You were chosen before birth. Not cursed. Not doomed. Chosen. The glow intensified. You are the one who will open or close the 13th path. The decision will be yours alone. The words wrapped around her like warm silk. And then. The world snapped back. Yujunwa fell to her knees at the pool's edge, gasping for breath. Mama rushed to her, sobbing. My child. My child, what did she do to you? Ndia stepped back, her expression solemn. I showed her what she needed to see. Nathan helped Yujunwa sit up. Tobichuku knelt beside her. What did you see? He whispered. Yujunwa lifted her face slowly, tears shimmering in her eyes. I saw everything. My father. The covenant. My birth. The spirit that marked me. She touched her chest. I was chosen. Before I even existed. Mama collapsed beside her, shaking with grief and awe. Nathan exhaled sharply. So all of this was destiny. Ndia nodded. And destiny is not finished yet. She pointed toward the mountain rising beyond the forest. There lies the cavern of echoes. Where the orb of life is hidden. And where the covenant will come. Tobichuku stood, his expression fierce. Then we must reach it first. Ndia's eyes met Yujunwa's. You will not reach it without bloodshed. The covenant has awakened. Their leader has already sensed your presence. Yujunwa stiffened. Okafor is dead. Yes, Ndia whispered. But another has taken his place. Who? Nathan asked sharply. Ndia looked directly at Yujunwa. Someone who knows you. Someone tied to your blood. Someone who carries your father's regrets like a shadow. Yujunwa's breath froze. Who? Ndia's voice dropped to a whisper. Your father had a brother. Mama went pale. No. No, he died long before. He did not. Ndia said. He lives. He hides. And he leads the 13th path now. Nathan staggered back. Tobichuku's spirit flickered violently. Yujunwa's pulse roared in her ears. My uncle, she whispered. Ndia nodded. He waits for you at the mountain. And he will do anything to claim what your father refused. Her eyes glowed blue. Your life. The wind rose sharply. The river surged. The ground trembled. The journey had only begun. And now. The true enemy had a face. The compound remained unerringly quiet long after the old man's shadow vanished from the doorway. Yujunwa and her mother stood frozen in the center of Chamaka's small sitting room, the silence pressing on their ears like the thick weight of unseen eyes. Outside, the wind whispered through the mango tree, scattering its leaves across the veranda in restless spirals. Chamaka slowly lowered herself into a wooden chair, her fingers trembling as she pressed them against her eyelids. This thing is bigger than I thought, she whispered. I knew my brother didn't die a natural death, but I never imagined, her voice trailed off, thick with fear and grief. Mama Yujunwa exhaled shakily. We have already entered the matter. There is no turning back now. Yujunwa sat beside her, hands clasped tightly. Auntie, he said we should go to Yawani estate tonight. He said he will meet us there. Chamaka's eyes snapped open, fear flashing across her face. Tonight? Yes, Yujunwa nodded slowly. He said we don't have time. He said. Chief Okafor is planning something. The name seemed to poison the air. Chamaka shivered. That man is evil. He has always been evil. She stared at her hands, then added in a low voice, "You don't know what he is capable of. My brother knew too much. That was why he died." The bulb flickered above them, buzzing faintly. The wind outside suddenly dropped, leaving a disturbing stillness in the air. Then, tap, tap, tap. Someone knocked on the door. Everyone froze. Chamaka rose halfway from the chair, her breath caught in her throat. "Did you tell anyone you were coming?" she whispered. "No," Mama Yujunwa replied. "Nobody." The knock came again, firmer this time. Tap. 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 Yujunwa felt Tobchukwa's presence like a faint chill brushing against her ear, but he did not speak. It was not him. They exchanged tense glances. Chamaka gathered courage, stepped quietly toward the door, and whispered toward whoever stood outside, "Who is it?" Silence. Her hands shook. She reached for the door latch, then stopped suddenly as a voice drifted from behind the house. Ka'amaka. The whisper stretched like a sigh, familiar yet distorted, like a memory dragged through water. Chamaka's heart stopped. "That is my brother's voice," she said, voice breaking, "but he is not here." Mama Yujunwa's eyes widened. Something is wrong. Spirits do not call from outside unless they are warning you. Again, the whisper floated through the window. Maka, run. The next moment, the bulb above them sputtered violently, then burst with a sharp crack, plunging the room into darkness. Chamaka gasped. Yujunwa cried out softly. Mama Yujunwa grabbed her daughter's hand. "Everybody inside. Move to the inner room." But just as they took a single step. Bam! The front door shook violently, as if someone had slammed their entire weight against it. Then again. Bam! Bam! Dust fell from the ceiling. The door hinges screeched. Chamaka's voice trembled. "Jesus! What is that?" Mama Yujunwa grabbed her arm. "Something is trying to force its way inside. We need to leave through the back door." Yujunwa suddenly heard Tobchukwa's voice, barely a whisper, urgent, trembling. "Don't use the back, he is there." Her heart dropped. "Who?" she whispered. But the voice was gone. Another slam thundered through the room. Bam! The door cracked. Something was coming in. Without warning, all three women sprinted into the corridor, moving purely from instinct and fear. Mama Yujunwa grabbed a lantern from the wall, her hands shaking so badly she almost dropped it. "Light it!" Chamaka whispered desperately. She tried, but the match snapped. She tried again, failed. Her fingers were trembling too badly. "Give it to me," Yujunwa said. She took the lantern, struck the match once, twice, 3 times. Nothing. Outside the door, something growled. A deep, low sound that did not belong to any human throat. Chamaka clutched her chest. "That is not my brother. That is not my brother." They stumbled backward until they reached Chamaka's small bedroom. Mama Yujunwa slammed the door shut and pressed her back firmly against it. Chamaka dropped to her knees. What does it want? Why here? Why tonight? Yujunwa finally got the lantern lit, its soft glow filling the room with a faint trembling light. Shadows stretched across the walls like long black fingers. Suddenly. Scratch. Something dragged its nails across the bedroom door. Not knocking. Not slamming. Just scratching. Slow, deliberate, hungry. Chamaka covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. This is Chief Okafor's doing, Mama Yujunwa whispered. He knows we are coming. He knows the truth is about to come out. The scratching stopped. Silence. Then, a low whisper seeped from beneath the door. Give me the girl. Yujunwa gasped, stumbling backward. Her mother grabbed her protectively. Chimaka's eyes widened in horror. He wants the medium. He wants her to stop hearing the dead. The whisper returned, harsh and venomous. Open the door. Mama Yujunwa shouted back with trembling defiance, over my dead body. The thing outside chuckled an icy, hollow sound that made every hair on their bodies stand up. Then it spoke with a voice that didn't belong to the living or the dead. You cannot stop what has already begun. Suddenly the entire house shook, the bed rattling violently, the windows clattering like they might shatter at any moment. The lantern flickered wildly. Chimaka screamed as the wardrobe door swung open by itself. Mama Yujunwa grabbed Yujunwa's wrist and pulled her close, shielding her with a mother's raw, desperate strength. Then, everything stopped. Just like that. No sound. No scratching. No shaking. Not even the wind. A terrifying, suffocating silence pressed down on them. The lantern flame froze, unmoving, as if time itself had paused. Then, to their shock, the figure of Tobchukwu materialized in the center of the room, brighter and stronger than ever. His eyes blazed with urgency. Get up, he said sharply. There is no time. Chimaka collapsed into sobs. Brother! You almost scared us to death. That thing is not me, he said firmly. It wears darkness like a cloak. It has been following you since the moment you stepped into this house. Mama Yujunwa looked at him, breathlessly. What does it want?